All right, fishing fam, we're here at the Indy Boat Sport and Travel Show with Gene, the Fluke Master Jensen, and we're going to take a couple of minutes and go over the new Bonafide Fluke Master version and walk through everything that he has got this not a kayak rigged out to be. So I'm going to hand this mic over to Gene, and we're just going to walk through the whole contraption because this thing is fantastic.
All right, well, I hope everybody's having a great day. What I want to do is I kind of want to walk you through my Bonafide XTR. When I got this, my thought was it's going to be a boat that I'm going to stand up in on the front all day long. I'm going to flip, I'm going to pitch, I'm going to sight fish, and I'm going to fish inshore with it. So I rigged it up the way I would rig up a boat if I was going to stand up on the front deck all the time. So I'm going to start from the front and go over what I've got. I've got the XI3 on the front. This is eventually going to be changed out for the new Lowrance, what do they call it? The Recon is what I've got on order right now. So as soon as that comes in, I'm going to change it out to the Recon. So I've got an actual foot control trolling motor, a digital foot control, which I'm excited about. And at Westbrook, we designed a plate to be able to hold everything up front. So this is a custom one-of plate. I got the running lights up front, so we got the green and the red light, navigation lights, I guess that's what they're called. So right here is my scope mount. So I've got my active target sitting up front, and this is the cornfield fishing active target mount. And what it is, it's a remote mount. I've got a key fob, being able to move it left and right, and it also comes with a foot pedal, so it can be hands-free. That sits down on the deck, and that's all it is. Now this one was designed for big boats, and so it's a little beefy. My hope is that I can help them design them a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter for kayaks, because we're not going to be driving 60 miles an hour with these suckers on. We don't need them to be indestructible. On the other side, I've got one of their fish finder mounts, and this one can't do it across the boat. It's hard. Is an extendable one, so I can take it when I'm standing. My bad eyes, I'll be able to adjust it, be able to see it, and it sits a little bit closer and I can reach it and be able to adjust it and things like that. But this is strictly for scoping. It's not for anything else. I've got it only rigged up to the live scope module, which is in the front hatch. You come over here, front hatch has got plenty of room, and with my live scopes and with my active targets, I love to have them portable, so I have everything inside a dry box that sits inside of here. That way I can move it back and forth from different boats and things like that.
You see where it's got its fuse box.
Got fuse box in here. This is forgot what we put behind here. I can't remember what we put behind there, but it lights up when I have it plugged in and things like that. Going back, and the one thing we did is I wanted to make it to where I could step up on the front deck.
Yep.
So we took the captain's bridge, got rid of the bases, drilled holes in them, and mounted them directly to these gear tracks. And so they're still removable, but it's safe for me to step in, because I wanted to be able to move the fish finders out. And of course we have a cornfield fishing base right here, so I can move that one to the back and scope from the back of the boat.
Okay.
And then your regular fish finder, where I'm going to do sound down imaging and side scan. Now the transducer is in the back of the boat, mounted to the back, and so we had to do a little bit of modification back there to make it work the way I wanted to. But just the biggest thing is I have to remember it's not directly under; it's in the back.
So that being said, do you think there's going to be any future where we see a center mount?
No,
something?
No, not on this boat.
Not going to do it.
Not on this boat. Nope. So.
We're actually treating this one like a boat.
Yep, we're going to treat it like a boat. And so what I'll end up doing is taking and putting a GPS puck back there, so I have more accurate GPS waypoints when I mark them on my fish finder. So another one of the cool things we got going on is I took a Craftsman toolbox and I strapped it, and fortunately the T-posts mount in pretty good onto that.
Yep.
And so I took and strapped it in there, and that's just going to be, that was the replacement for the box of the drawer that they didn't have out yet, but just came out like a week and a half ago. So we have.
So truth be told, I literally bought the same Craftsman toolbox because Gene had it. But then I saw they came out with the under drawer from Bonafide.
Yeah.
So I forgot now got that sitting in my garage too. So So we'll see which one I stick with, the drawer that slides out or the Craftsman.
Yep.
So we'll have to see how that plays out.
Yep. On the opposite side of the boat, I've got 2 of the side stagers, and I've got it set up to hold 3 rods, and I would probably cut that down and make it to just hold 2 because I like them a little bit shorter.
Okay.
And like I did over on my
PWR. Why you like 2 off to the side?
Biggest thing is being able to fight and land a fish. And if you have the full length of the side stager and 3 rods out there, it's so hard to land a fish on that side of the boat. And so I on my PWR, I took it and I cut it down in half, and I just have 2 holders.
Gotcha.
And the biggest one is I have one that's made for the rod that I'm using when I'm fighting a fish. When I'm done fighting a fish and I have it in the boat, I just put it off to the side.
Yep.
And the other one is just a follow-up rod.
So like you were saying in the seminar earlier,
Yep.
that Senko ready to go.
Yeah, the Senko ready to go if you miss one on a top water.
All right.
Okay, so the other thing is tackle storage. I haven't quite figured out how. I think I'm going to put all my tackle up front.
So much room up front.
Yeah,
That hatch is hard not to.
And so all my batteries are in the back. Again, I'm going to be standing up in the front of the boat all day long, so I needed to counterweight. And there's 175 amp hours worth of batteries in this black pack.
So you got all your electronics batteries in the back.
Yep.
And
Yep.
your trolling motor battery.
Yep, trolling motor battery, electronics battery. And the only reason I have a 75 amp hour electronics battery is because when I'm trolling chatterbaits on grass flats in Guntersville, I tend to run this thing dead on a full day of fishing. So I want to be able to get back to the boat ramp. So we rigged it to where when I'm regular fishing, it's isolated from the electronics battery, but if my trolling motor battery goes dead, I just flip a switch.
You're not worried about interference from your trolling motor battery hitting your electronics.
Yeah.
If you run out of the big battery, you can switch to your scoping battery and
I'm not
juice to get back.
And I'm not paddling.
100%.
And so,
well, you can paddle this kayak,
but I'm not paddling it 2 or 3 miles, which is typically how far away I am when I run dead.
Roger that.
And so we've got simple switches, and the way we have it rigged up is to where we can isolate it, and I just literally just flip that switch, and it changes over, and I can just run my trolling motor off my electronics battery.
Now I did see you made a little box there to raise that up over.
Yep, big piece of thick foam.
You did that with foam. Okay,
Yep.
I see how you got that.
Yep, that's just closed cell foam.
I have been deciding on whether I was going to run a battery behind or in the box, but when I see what you did here, once again, I take the tips from the guys in the know, just like those of you who learned about the bungee cord trick on the trolling motor.
Yep.
Yeah, this is why we talk to Gene, because it saves us the headache of learning these lessons.
Yeah, let me make the mistakes because of sponsorships, I don't have to pay for this stuff, so I can mess it up, break it, stuff like that, and I can play around with it, and I don't have to worry about losing a lot of money doing it. That way you guys don't lose a lot of money playing around with it. The one thing I am going to do different is I'm going to put another mount and double strap it because
you've got 2 sets of
and it's just too far back.
Yeah. You know what? Just thinking about that too, that block, I actually ran into the problem last year is when I was traveling up to Wisconsin with my batteries in my black pack, when I was running around, bouncing on some of the roads, I actually broke the bottom of my black pack a little bit because the batteries were in there. But seeing this foam, that's a nice little piece of insulation.
Yeah, a little shock absorber and stuff like that.
Shock absorber, because I know you're like me, you want to leave as much stuff on the kayak as possible. Because I asked you last year, hey, how often do you take your trolling motor off when you travel? And he's like, well, it's not been 50,000 miles, so it stays put. So he builds his stuff to travel.
Yeah, be able to bounce around.
Yep. So yeah, I like that foam block idea. I'm gonna have to find that and do exactly what you did here.
Call Westbrook, they'll tell you where to get one.
That's perfect.
I stole it out of the back of their shop.
Excellent.
So in the back I've got dual power poles.
Okay.
And these are the plates that Bonafide offers now. Actually these are the prototype ones, but they now offer them and they're a little bit more, the inserts are different and things like that. So but you mount these plates off to the side and you can put your power pole over here or either here or here. So you got 2 different positions.
Okay, so you can even go out farther.
You can go out further. Yep.
Okay, now let me ask you this, because I've had people ask this too. The poles themselves, if you've got 2 back there trying to pretend like you're a boat, do you find in the wind that the poles themselves are strong enough to kind of keep you in there?
Oh yeah.
I've had other people say, oh, what if the poles might twist or bend?
Nope. I in Florida this last week, that's where I tested them out when I was out there fishing. and I think I had 15-mile-an-hour winds pushing me from the side.
So if it was going to be so wrong, that would have been the time. So perfect.
It would turn, you'd drop it and have a side wind, and it would turn it just a hair, but it would stop it. So there's no twisting or no way, you don't have that problem.
I see your sticker for Seat Clear Power. Let's talk about that for a minute, because I actually was talking to you and Chad while you happened to be at Seat Clear Power, because I was sitting there cutting and doing the ends for my Anderson plugs for my XTR.
Yep.
But then you guys have actually worked with Seat Clear to come out with a new offering for those who don't want to try to become electricians. Talk about that a little bit.
So one of the things we're working with Seat Clear, now I'm not 100% on this personally, because I've ran my own electronics and own wiring in boats for years and years and years.
Yep.
But what they offer for riggers and for kayak shops that want to rig out and stuff like that is we're working with them to design wiring harnesses. And they're great because they isolate your fish finders from your trolling motor batteries. Everything that I've done for years trying to isolate that, they do it.
Okay.
And so, and it's just literally you order their wiring harness, and I've got one in my truck, and I should have brought it in, but I've got a wiring harness that you can literally just drop in the boat, know enough about electronics to know where everything goes, but you're not inventing a new wiring harness with every single kayak.
Yeah, because I noticed that when I went to go pull the one out of my PWR, put it in the XTR, I didn't leave a couple extra feet of cable.
Yep.
And when you're spending that much money on marine grade quality electric, and you've only got a 10-footer and trying to put it in a 14-foot boat, but the fact that they might be coming out with kits or something.
They have one kayak one already ready, and then they're going to make another one that fits the bigger boats and has more wiring for the kind of crap that I do, just having more stuff. Other thing I have right here, before I forget, is the switches. So I've got my nav light switch right here.
Oh yeah.
And then a USB plug right there, and that's it. I don't have any other switches on the boat. Because
no matter how many Bassmaster championships and KBF championships that he wins, at heart, he's still making content. He's still a content creator. He's still the Fluke Master. And you've got to have enough juice to run the cameras and the gear and the Starlink streaming on TikTok. So, Gene is really leading the way at bringing fishing content to the entire world and teaching people how to fish, but also, I'm going to say, giving people confidence to go out and do this, whether you do it for fun or competition or, like me, a combination of both. He's bringing fishing to the world using all the latest, stuff to be able to do that.
Well, and my recommendation is always this: don't look at my rigging and say I need to have my boat rigged up exactly like Fluke Master. That is the worst thing that you can do, because I fish different and I require different things than other people. Take small ideas that you get from my kayaks and my rigging and try them out for yourself in a smaller, controlled environment and figure out whether they work for you or not. That way you're not wasting a whole lot of time and effort and money trying to do what I've got. If I was to add everything up once this thing is fully rigged, $21,000. Because of the expense of the mounts that aren't really made for kayaks, but they're made for bass boats, and the expense of everything else. You don't want to spend that kind of money and then realize, wait a minute, this just doesn't work for me. So do it a little bit at a time, and you'll get it exactly the way you want. There's things on this boat I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. I don't know where I'm going to put my short stack. I don't know where I'm going to put my track packs. And I'm still trying to figure that stuff out. And so like I told you earlier, it's going to take me 6 months of being in this thing before I realize and have it rigged out to where it'll work for me.
Exactly. All right, everybody, that's our video with Gene Jensen going over his XTR130. Gene, thanks so much, brother. It's always good to see you at the shows, on the water, in all the various places. But again, like Gene said, don't try to take his boat and make it your boat. Take nuggets, take information from everybody you see rigging these out, and build your own kayak the way you want. You might still be a paddler like Matt and keeping it simple, but we all started in a paddle kayak, and it takes a while. It's taken me 3-4 years to kind of play this same game, but it lets me go places I really wouldn't be able to go to with limited mobility, even though we're both working on increasing our mobility. It's just one of those things where you build a kayak based on your needs and how you want to do it. So, Gene, thanks,
yes, sir. Appreciate it.
As always, get outside when you can and make some memories. One cast at a time.